Hello friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. Today I have a very exciting video for you. I have never done a bookshelf tour on my channel, which is crazy. The first couple years I had my channel, I was living in an apartment where I didn't really have my bookshelves with me. And then when I was living at home, I thought about doing it and I started doing it, but it was so much work that I was like, nah. But now that I'm here in my own apartment and I have bookshelves and they're finally organized in a way that I like them, I decided it was high time to do this video. That is what I'm bringing you today, my first ever bookshelf tour, and I am so excited. Before we jump into it, the bookshelves that I have are Billy bookshelves from IKEA. I have two of the skinny ones here in my living room with me. One of them is right behind me, as you can see. And then I have one of the regular size Billy bookshelves in my bedroom over there. And then I also have a book cart from Target. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's the one that everyone has. And I also counted how many books that I have today, and it's a very unsatisfying number. I have exactly 351 books. Why couldn't it just be 350? I don't know, but it is 351. Also, I organize my bookshelves kind of by height and kind of by vibes. So I think every book that is behind me on these shelves in my living room, they're all hardcovers, and most of them are tall hardcovers. They're mostly in height order as best as I could, while also kind of putting spines together that I thought looked good together. They kind of have color story going on. These shelves, you can see this one's dark blues and this one's lighter blues and purple. I don't know. It's just vibes, basically. And then my shelves in my bedroom, the first three are YA fantasy series that I wanted to display together. And then the bottom three shelves are I think I have one that's hardback and then the rest of my paperback books. And then on my book cart are books that I got after I organized my bookshelves and or books that didn't fit anywhere else. And then I think I have a couple random piles that I'll show you as well. But yeah, that is basically my organization structure and how everything fits together. It's vibes, man. So let's just hop right into it. Alright, so this is first of two shelves that I have in my living room. These are the skinny Billy bookshelves from IKEA. On the very top of this one, I have the Poppy War series by R.F. Kuang. I have the Poppy War, the Dragon Republic, and the Burning God. Next to these two beautiful bookends that I got from Home Goods. I love them. This next shelf are mostly black books with yellow on them, or dark books with yellow on them. And a lot of them are book of the month. Other than that, there's really no rhyme or reason for these books being on the shelf together, other than vibes, and I think they look fairly nice together. First, I have The Wonder by Emma Donoghue, The Outsider by Stephen King, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, Transcendent Kingdom by Yao Jesse, Outlawed by Anna North, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, The Night Swim by Megan Golden, and The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Pennerer. Moving down to the next shelf here, these are all book of the month books, so they're all the same height, but other than that, they are simply here because vibes. I have kind of a pink and blue theme going on here, I guess, but I don't know why I keep repeating myself. There's no rhyme or reason, simply vibes. So I have Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey, The Comeback by Ella Berman, Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bashardoust, The Neighbor's Secret by Allison Heller, The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr., Infinite Country by Patricia Engel, Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby, Facing Out because this is one of my favorite books of 2022 so far. I also have a couple books behind this one. These are either books that I don't love or that don't go with the aesthetic of my shelves, and just because I needed more space, basically. So this is Pignon Scorpion and the Barbershop Detectives by Rick Bleiweiss. This was sent to me by the author. I have Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala that I didn't really love, so that's why it's back here. And I have The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna because I don't like the blue of the Book of the Month emblem on this book. And then, last but not least, I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, mostly because the highlighter green spine did not match with my bookshelves. And the fact that they all fit back there perfectly is very satisfying to me. Last but not least, we have My Friend Anna by Rachel Deloche Williams. Moving on to our next shelf here, this is a blue hardcover shelf. Starting here, we have The Last Tutor by Philippa Gregory, The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell, Everything We Didn't Say by Nicole Bart, The Guest List by Lucy Foley, False Witness by Karen Slaughter, The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I have this little butterfly frame. Then we have The Kept Woman by Karen Slaughter, All's Well by Mona Awad. So this is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, which is honestly one of my favorite covers of the year. I love this cover so much. Love the illustration style. I think it's so pretty, and the colors too. And then last but not least, we have The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard on this side. This shelf, we kind of have a pseudo half rainbow going on with green to purple. Up top here, I have the collector's edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue that just came out recently with the beautiful end papers. I love this book so much, and I would like a place to display it better. Hopefully when I move at the beginning of the year and reorganize my bookshelves again, I'll find a better spot for it. But for now, it is there because it is blue and it kind of matches the books that are there. Then over here I have The Transition Baby by Tori Peters, Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer, A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum, Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell, One by One by Ruth Ware, Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, which is the third book in her Cruel Prince series, Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, The Push by Ashley Aldrain, The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare, and Sundial by Katronia Ward. This shelf kind of has a dark green to black color scheme going on, and of course it is in height order as best as I could. I have The Last House on Needless Street by Katronia Ward over here, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, The Midnight Lab by Marie Rutowski, The Wicked King by Holly Black, along with my little Jude and Carden bookmark that Christine got me that I love so much. I do use it, but I wanted to display it just to show it off in this video. And this, of course, is the second book in Holly Black's Cruel Prince series. Then I have probably my actual most prized possessions on this bookshelf. These editions of TJ Klune's books, A House in the Cerulean Sea, with these gorgeous freaking end papers. I'm not really much of a book, like, special edition collector, but I love these so much. Under the Whispering Door is just as pretty and has these end papers. Another one of my favorites of 2022 so far. I love this book. A Marvelous Light by Freya Marksey, another one I loved this year, as well as Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. Possibly like my actual favorite of 2022. I love this book so much. And then Before We Disappear by Sean David Hutchinson, A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee, and As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson, which is the third book in her A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And the last shelf on this bookcase are simply hardcover books that I didn't have another spot for. Most of them are YA. There is a couple adult books though thrown in here. On this side I have In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which is the only tall hardcover, and it's over there because I cannot see this side of my bookshelf from my couch. So it doesn't bother me that it's a different height. I don't know if it makes sense. That's just the way my brain works. And then I have Middle Game by Shauna McGuire, White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson, Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. I have then the first two books in the Aurora cycle by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which I haven't read, Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning, The Summer of Impossibilities, We Were Promised Spotlights by Lindsay Kroll, This Is My America by Kim Johnson, We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and The Gallery of Unfinished Girls by Lauren Karks. And then up on top I have A Taste of Golden Iron by Alexandra Rowland, because this is another newly acquired book that I don't have a spot for yet, so it sits there so it can lay flat. But I also love this cover. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to read this book. I think I will love it. Alright, moving over to this shelf. Up here I have Black and Red Book of the Month books is pretty much my theme here. I also have this jar of bookmarks here. I do have a lot, although most of them are from Book of the Month. Here's a little shelf overview. I have a little fake plant from IKEA up there. I like how it looks though. Alright, in this stack here, from top to bottom, I have Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, The Collected by Allison Galen, Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane, The Shadows by Alex North, Firekeeper's Daughter, A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCrate, and Girl A by Abigail Dean. And then over here, I just liked how these books looked basically have them made by Anita Prose, Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, Beach Read by Emily Henry, and The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Moving on to the second shelf, these books are all colorful in the cool color family. If you can see the book of the month logo on the top, they're all like green, blue, pink, or purple. Right here I have a little postcard. This is Adam and Noah from Only James's Necessary Evil series, which I love. I have Unhinged, the book that these two are from, on my other bookcase, but I wanted to display this where I see it all the time because I sit in my living room all the time. And they're definitely my favorite couple in this series, but I got this for being a part of Only's Patreon. She sent it to me. Over here I have Betty by Tiffany McDaniel, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, When the Stars Go Dark by Paula McLean, Leave the World Behind by Rumen Alam, The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, The Death of Vivek Oji by Kwake Emeze, My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. I don't know how to say her last name. And then Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. And then up top I just put Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood because I don't have another spot for it yet and I thought it looked cute there, plus The Love Hypothesis is already on the shelf. Moving on down to the next shelf, this is a shelf of hardcover black books. Over here I have some Polaroids of one of my first trips to meet BookTube friends. I came here to New York in summer 2021. This is us at karaoke. Rachel, Dana, Jayla, Casey, Nitty, and I. This one didn't develop super well, but it's me, Casey, and Nitty. And then this is me and Casey. So I just have these here as cute little memories. And then back to the books. Over here, I have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I found in a little free library, which is crazy. Then I have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, And I Darken by Kirsten White, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, Hostage by Clara McIntosh, Survive the Night by Riley Sager, Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Curlin, Bunny by Mona Awad, and The Missing Years by Lexi Elliott. This shelf is supposed to be a red, yellow, orange kind of vibe. This is not my favorite shelf on my bookshelves, but it is what it is. Over here though are some favorite things. I have a moon-shaped moonstone from my friend Caitlin, who's in this photo. We were all in the Gamma Phi Beta sorority in college and our symbol is a moon, so she got us these crystals, me and like 4 of my closest friends in the sorority. And then this is a little cute Polaroid frame of me and Caitlin at a Christmas party when we were in college. All right, and on this shelf I have The Swallows by Lisa Lutz, The Whisper by Donato Carisi, The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter, Golden Boy by Abigail Tartellin, Facing Out. Of course, this is one of my favorite books of all time. If you haven't read it, you really should. I love it so much. It's lit fic about an intersex character and it is devastating and beautiful and just an incredible, unique story. I love it so freaking much. Then I have The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw, and Inland by Taya O'Brien. All right, this shelf is kind of red, black, and silver, I guess. No real other theme to it other than these books are mostly the same height. Over here I have The World of Laura Ingalls Wilder by Marta McDowell. I loved Laura Ingalls growing up, so this was a book my mom got me. It's super interesting about her life. The Final Revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. I have a couple of the ACOTAR books by Sarah J Maas. I really didn't love this series though, so these probably will not stay on my bookshelves forever, but I do actually like these covers of the ACOTAR series, the new ones. I might be the only one, but I think they're really cool and I like the color scheme. So I have the first book, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then I have the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury. I did not buy the third book because I did not like this one at all, but I do have A Court of Silver Flames because Christine gave it to me when I visited her. Then I have City on Fire by Garth Risk Holzberg, Flame Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, and The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. And then last but not least, here on this bottom shelf, I have basically black books with red accents, I guess. Over here, I have The Institute by Stephen King, Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King. I have books 2, 3, and 4 of the Unwind series by Neil Schusterman. The second book is Unsold, the third book is Undivided, and the fourth book is Unholy. I used to have the first book, Unwind, but again, I think I loaned it to somebody and they never returned it, so that's another one I need to add to my collection again eventually. And then I have the 4 books in, I don't remember what the series is called, but the 3 Dark Crowns series by Kinder Blake. The first book is 3 Dark Crowns, second book 1 Dark Throne, third book 2 Dark Reigns, and fourth book 5 Dark Fates. Kind of confusing because the wrong number is in the title for each subsequent book. And then finally on top I put A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows because I felt like it fit the color scheme and I needed a little place to put it. Another one of my favorites of 2022. Definitely want this to have more of a place of honor the next time I rearrange my shelves. Okay, this is the top shelf on my main bookcase in my bedroom. So I'm going to be hand holding my camera. Hopefully it's not too shaky, but let's go in for a closer look. So this is mainly a YA fantasy series shelf, and that's what the next 3 shelves will be. So these are like the one section of my shelves that are sorted by something other than vibes. So first, as you can see, we have the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer, the first book Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, and the new Midnight Sun, which I still haven't read, but I should read next month in December, which is exciting. These are like the original copies I had from when I was in middle school, and they're all annotated, and I love them so much. Probably some of my most prized book possessions just for nostalgia reasons. And then here I have the first 3 books in the Diviner series, and they definitely look like they are 3 different editions, which is so frustrating. I wish somebody would make like dust jackets that matched that they would sell separately, but I haven't found any yet that I like. This series is by Libba Bray. I have the first 3, The Diviners, Layer of Dreams, and Before the Devil Breaks You. I'm currently reading Layer of Dreams, which is why I have a bookmark in there. And then I have my little Harry Potter corner. So just a disclaimer, obviously I do not support J.K. Rowling. I actively hate J.K. Rowling and plan to never give her any more of my money. I usually don't feature them on my channel, but did want to include them as part of my bookshelf tour because they are on my bookshelves. And a fun fact, even when I was originally reading these when I was in middle school, I actually think I have gotten all but one of the original 7 from thrift stores, so really not much of my money has gone to J.K. Rowling in the past. But of course I have the hardcover of the original 7 books in the series, and then I have the 4 illustrated editions, and I have my little Draco Funko Pop. And the fact that J.K. Rowling hates Draco, but I love Draco, just makes me happy inside. So that is my first shelf. Moving down to the second highest shelf on this bookshelf, this is another YA fantasy series shelf. As you can see, I have my Shadowhunters collection by Cassandra Clare. I have the original Mortal Instruments trilogy in paperback, City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, and then I have the additional continuation trilogy in hardcover, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. Then I have the Infernal Devices series in mixed paperback and hardback, Clockwork Angel I have in paperback, Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess I have in hardcover. The only one of the Dark Artifices series I have is Lady Midnight. Not really sure why. I listened to the whole series on audio and Lady Midnight was just the only one that I bought, but I do have Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron, and I can't remember the series name off the top of my head, but I'm very excited for Chain of Thorns to come out. I haven't read either of these yet. Once Chain of Thorns comes out, I plan to do a reading vlog reading this whole trilogy. And then I have one of my favorite YA sci-fi series right here, the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. First is Illuminae, second is Gemina, and the third is Obsidio. And then, of course, I have the Six of Crows duology right here, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I love those books so much, like everyone else. On to this third shelf. As you can see, I have this picture here of me and my best friend Gabby at our flight attendant graduation. That was like over a year ago now, which is crazy. Behind that, I have the Hunger Games trilogy. I have the original The Hunger Games in paperback, Catching Fire in hardcover, and Mockingjay in hardcover. And then next starts my Maggie Stiefvater collection. If you didn't know, Maggie Stiefvater is probably my favorite YA author, probably also in my top favorite authors of all time. I just love her writing so much, and she's from Virginia, like 30 minutes from where I grew up, so all of her books are kind of set in that area, which I think is so cool. So first I have her original trilogy that was popular, The Wolves of Mercy Falls, I think it's called. I read these in middle school and loved them to death. It's like a little werewolf romance series. The first book is Shiver, second is Linger, the third is Forever. One of her standalones, one of my favorites, is Scorpio Races, and then of course the Raven Cycle series, starting with The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King. All the Crooked Saints is a standalone by her, and then I have the Dreamer trilogy here, which is a continuation of the Raven Cycle series. The first book is Call Down the Hawk, the second is Mr. Impossible, and the third is Grey Warren. I'm currently working on a reading vlog, reading those 3. So excited about it. And then facing out here, I have The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which is one of my like OG favorite books that I found through BookTube back when I was like in high school. I definitely don't read a lot of things like this anymore, but I do love this book so much. It has such a special place in my heart. And then I have an incomplete collection of the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. This is like the spin-off of the Percy Jackson series. I have books 2 through 5. So book 2 is The Son of Neptune, third is The Mark of Athena, fourth is House of Hades, and fifth is The Blood of Olympus. I don't know why I don't have the first one. I think I got from the library or something back when I read it, but I do really love this series, probably actually more than the Percy Jackson series. So eventually I would like to get the first book, but I'm more of like a collector of books I haven't read yet than books that I have read, so it takes me longer to acquire books that I've already read. But one day, hopefully that will be in my library because I do love this series. This shelf mostly consists of YA, but it's really just organized by vibe. It kind of has a color story. You can kind of see that it goes from red to blue, purple. Also, it's all the same height, so I love how all of the same height looks all lined up together, but that's really the only organization it has. But the first book on this shelf is, of course, Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Next is After Parties by Anthony So, which I think is the only non-YA book. This is like a series of short stories, I think. And I have The Nowhere Girls, Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi, Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis. I have books 2 and 3 of Neil Shusterman's The Arc of the Scythe series. I think I originally had the first one, but I think I loaned it to someone and they never returned it. And I have since lost track of it, so I don't know where it is. But I do have Thunderhead and The Toll, which I have not read. Then I have Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe, The Last True Poets of the Sea, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which again I don't think is YA, but it fits here. Then I have Sasha Masha, Kiss and Tell, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, We Contain Multitudes, The Extraordinaries, King and the Dragonflies, one of my favorites of this year. I love this book so much. Dress Codes for Small Towns, The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, which probably has one of my favorite covers of this year. I love this book so much. It is so pretty. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to, and I really think I will love it once I do. And then I'm going to move my little rainbow alarm clock. Of course, when I saw this, I had to have it, even though it does not have batteries in it and it's not telling the time. Then I have The Bridge by Bill Konigsberg, If We Were Us by K.L. Walther, Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins, another one of like my OG YA favorites, Spin With Me, and Switch by A.S. King. Okay, this second to the last shelf is really just a mix of everything. My last 2 shelves here are kind of in rainbow order. This shelf is simply put together based on vibes. I have some hardcover books over here, lined up kind of by what looks good next to one another. And then I have paperback, mostly adult romance on this side, also again lined up kind of by color. As you can see, I go from like black to blue and then purple, and then this side's also purple. I could not explain to you my thought process with this shelf. I ran out of books that were all the same height, and it so bothers me that every paperback I own is a different size. That's why they're on the bottom shelf. Let's just go through it. The Rest of Us Live Here by Patrick Ness, Love in the Big City by Sang-Young Park, The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schaefer, which has such a pretty cover. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so excited to read this one. I really think that it's going to be like a 5-star prediction for 2023. So, and I have Pet by Kwake Emeze, Those Who Pray by Elizabeth Moffat, When Life Gives You Lemons, I Kissed Cher Wheeler by Casey McQuiston, another of my favorite covers of this year. I think I have like the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It's so pretty. I love it. I wish I liked it a little bit better than I did, but it's still such a pretty book. Cultish by Amanda Montell. This is also another of my favorite covers. I just love this cover. I think it is so freaking cool. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, The Infinite Noise, Horrid, A Curse of Roses, The Incendiaries, Ring Shout, Neon Gods, which I actually just did a reading vlog on if you missed it, The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, The Weight of the Stars by Kate Ankrum, Chef's Kiss by TJ Alexander, Written in the Stars by Alexandra Belfleur, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, Boyfriend Material and Husband Material also by Alexis Hall, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, July the Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake, Hang the Moon by Alexandra Belfleur, Unhinged by Only James, another one of my favorite books of the year, and definitely a prized possession. He is all tabbed up, and I love him. This cover is just so hot. I love it. And then last but not least, A Loveless by Alice Oseman. All right, in the last and final shelf, I'm gonna have to handhold my camera for this one as well, so sorry if it's a little bit shaky. Another mix mash of things. Tall books over here, and then this one definitely is rainbow. So we have like red to orange, yellow, green, blue, and it ends in blue. So we can start over here. I have this book called Queer Ducks and Other Animals by Elliot Schaefer. Wait, oh my god. I just realized right now that Elliot Schaefer wrote both of these books. That is fascinating. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, I picked this book up randomly at an indie bookstore in my hometown because I thought it was funny. It's like a nonfiction book about queerness in nature. And I just thought it was so cool. I picked it up. I haven't read it yet, but now that I know that it was written by the same author as that other book that I'm super excited for, I feel like I'm more excited to read this one. All right, and then next to Queer Ducks, I have my Heartstopper collection. So of course, I have the TV tie-in edition of the first book. All right, this shelf is too tight. I'm not pulling anything else out because that was a struggle. Okay, and And then I have volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, obviously. I am mad that I have 2 in the UK edition. I need to get the US edition so it matches these ones. And I like these ones better because these are like printed on like newspaper paper and the US editions are glossy pages, so I need a US edition of that one. Then I have Ace by Angela Chen, American Cult, which is like a graphic novel about cults in America, The Last Flight by Julie Clark, Lady Killers by Tori Telfer, Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, Everything for You by Chloe Leese, These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerer, The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochran, I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman, The Trouble with Hating You by Sajani Patel, Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandra Bellafleur, Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon, Take a Hint Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, Out of Character by Anna Beth Albert, A Restless Truth by Freya Marksey, which is my very first physical arc ever, which I feel like I will treasure this forever. Even though they did not send it to me because I am an influencer, they sent it to me because I won a competition. But still, I was very excited. The Queer Principles of Kit Webb, Total Creative Control by Joanna Chambers and Sally Malcolm, Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade, The Layover by Lacey Bolden, Reminders of Him by Coho, Love, Hate, and Clickbait by Liz Bowery, Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, Twisted Love by Anna Huang, This Is How You Lose the Time War, and The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn. So that is my bedroom shelf. Also in my bedroom, I have this stack of books that I recently hauled that I don't have any more room for on my shelves because I didn't have a single spot for anything on my shelves when I put them together. Books that I have recently acquired include Ben and Beatrice by Catalina Gamara, Queerly Beloved by Susie Drummond, Never Kiss Your Roommate by Feline Harms, The Short Second Life of Brie Tanner by Stephanie Meyer, which I just never owned before we were reading it for the Twilight read-along. I just found it really cheap secondhand, so I picked it up. Actual by Toby McSmith, The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre by Robin Talley, Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe, and The Passing Playbook by Isaac Fitzsimmons. And then I also have these beautiful editions of Emma and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and the freaking gilded edges. Oh, I love these so much. They're some of my favorite books in my collection for sure. Also behind this book stack, I just want to feature this beautiful art piece one of my best friends, Justin, drew for me for Christmas one year. It is Taylor Swift's Folklore album and like a little icon image to match each song. And I love it so much and will have it displayed forever and ever. And last but not least, my book cart has books on it that basically didn't fit anywhere else. This top shelf of my book cart are books that I've hauled since I put together my bookshelves that don't have anywhere else to fit. So they are up here. As you can probably tell, I have no more space for even new books to be hauled, so I need another shelf basically. But here I have The It Girl by Ruth Ware, The Hacienda, Book of Night by Holly Black, Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour, Breathless by Amy McCulloch, Upgrade by Blake Crouch, The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, The Cherry Robbers, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwake Emeze, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, and this little book over here is The Perks of Loving a Wallflower by Erica Burdell. Moving down to this next shelf, these are simply books that did not fit anywhere else. So on top I have The Hating Game and Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, Save the Date by Morgan Matson, Saul Kill Girls by Claire Legrand, I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Anne Reed, The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, Night Sky, Exit Wounds by Ocean Vuong, The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty, Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, and The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. If I turn this second shelf to the side, I also have some books in the back here. I have Normal People by Sally Rooney, The Bald City by Ryan Groden, Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins, and then I also have Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, and Sea of Strangers is back here by Lang Leave, which is a book of poetry. And then on the side of the bottom shelf down here, I have All Boys Aren't Blue, We Were Liars. This is a UK edition of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, so Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, and Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. And then on the other side of this bottom shelf, I have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandra Dumas, The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd, Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo, and Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. And then on the opposite side of the second shelf, I have the paperback boxed set of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan. And the bottom shelf of my book cart is again books that did not fit anywhere else. So I have Her Name in the Sky by Kelly Quinlan, More Than This by Patrick Ness, East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which is probably one of
of my favorite classics. Pride and Prejudice is probably my favorite classic, but I love East of Eden. Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld, which is a childhood favorite. The Face on the Milk Carton by Carolyn B. Cooney is also a childhood favorite. ABCs of LGBT. This is a nonfiction book, basically what it sounds like. The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. The Couple Beauty School. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. And then the first 5 books in the Maximum Rise series by James Patterson, which in my mind are the only books that exist in this series because the rest of them are terrible. Angel Experiment, School's Out Forever, Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports, The Final Warning, and Max. And that is my little book cart.
All right, and that was my bookshelf tour. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you being here and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did make it this far in the video, leave me a gold star because you deserve a gold star for sitting through this. And if you want more bookish content from me, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. I will be moving at the beginning of the year, so I will have probably like a new shelf organization video if you're interested in that kind of thing. I might switch it up. I might get a new shelf, so subscribe for that. That will be coming probably in January. Also, if you liked this video, I'd appreciate you liking it. It will help me out and help me in the algorithm. Also, if you want more content from me and want to keep up with me on the day-to-day, you can follow me on Instagram and Goodreads. Those are the 2 social medias I'm most active on outside of YouTube. Yes, I think that is all for me today, so thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.